Welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I'll be covering every studio song the band has recorded and every bonus track that I can find. Each week we'll go over a new song from the beginning to where they are currently, and as they keep adding albums, I'll keep adding shows. Let the deep dive party begin.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing.
Hello and welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin, and I got a cover song for you guys today. This is called Love is Blind. You know what? Isn't that true? When you think of all the things that you've done to impress people that you were attracted to just in the hopes of making something gel between the two of you, I don't even want to think about some of the things that I've done over the course of years for that. Probably could have paid cash for a house. Anyway, this song is a cover song originally written by Joey Carbone and Richie Zito. It was originally recorded by John O'Banion and released on his self-titled album in 1981. And then Uriah Heep covered it on the Head First album in 1983. So that is the origin of the song. And of course, you know, they're going to do their version of heapifying it, making it their own, as they have on these other cover songs that we've listened to so far. They're such a creative group of people. I like when they say, we're going to take something that already exists and just kind of make it our own, do it in the way that we would have done it if we had written it. They've done some great cover versions that we've heard so far, and this is going to be one of them, I'm sure. So let's get right into it. Here is Love is Blind. Well, just right off the bat, really interesting, heavy sound. I love the guitars, love the piano. You can hear the bass coming through. Drums are nice and solid. But what's really getting me is that swirling synthesizer that you're hearing in the back. It's almost, it's not quite a whistle. It's not quite a flute, but it just has a really, really nice feel to it. And I love the motion of it. That's definitely moving the song forward and keeping it going. And now we're going to hit some vocals almost right off the bat. And Bob Daisley is playing some really cool stuff on the bass. I'm so glad that it's coming through and we're able to hear it because it's good. And then I really like that sort of sweeping synth that we just heard there right before I cut the song off. There's a lot of that we hear on this album, and I really like that. I like the fact that it's used tastefully and not just, you know, grinding through the entire song, just in little spots to make it interesting to, you know, sweep through some transitions. Instead of just going from the verse to a slight break to the next part of the verse, just, you know, some kind of filler in there that sounds really good. And that's what I really like about John Sinclair's keyboard playing. And he's very creative with the sounds that he uses too. So we'll see where it goes. Did you catch that in the background? That sounded really good. I'm going to guess that was a guitar that did that little sweep there. Very nice. Really love the guitar sound too, just during the riff. It's nice and thick and very dominant in the track. I kind of thought that this was going to be another synthesizer-driven song from the intro, but no, it's pretty solid guitar there. I really love the sound of that distortion too. It's perfect. It's not tinny. It doesn't sound too thin, but it's not so heavy that it overpowers the entire song. It just kind of drives it. I really like what they did with those two riffs right there. You've got the first one that's going up in scale, and then the second half where it goes down. Really sounds good. Nice, strong vocals from Peter Goalby, as we've heard on every single song so far. Really cool part. So I like the change. I like the direction that it took. And I realize, again, this is a cover song. I don't know the original song, so I don't know if it is the same progression or if they just changed it a little bit to, make it their own. But either way, what they're doing with it sounds really good. Great little solo section. Wouldn't really call it a full guitar solo because it was just a little bit in there. But then great fill from Lee Kerslake coming back into the next part. The song is so strong. They sound really good together on this.
Chance to show you just how good a love affair could be. But love was something that you had never given. I just couldn't see. I closed my eyes to all that you never gave me. Made it cold, my heart didn't want to.
So there's a really nice subtle build that they're doing here. As we went into this verse, they added a nice keyboard pad, and then the guitars got a little bit chunkier. Then they, do the break, and then when the next lines come in, now the keyboard is heavier. Guitars are filling up a little more. There's another bit of that nice sweep in the background. So they're really adding more to this as we go. They're not changing a whole lot. They're just making it sound bigger.
See how you played around and how well you showed me how wounded love can be. Love is blind, blinded by love. You're all I can see in my eyes. My mind says stop, but my heart says go. Oh, it hurts to find. It's still when they say that love is blind. Love is blind. So blind. Love is blind, blinded by love. You are
I've really got to give Mick some serious credit through this song because those little short solo bursts can be really difficult to do. When you've got, a normal length verse to cover a solo in, you can kind of spread out, do a little bit of build or cut it down at different points. But when you've got just those little sections to work with, it can be really challenging what to come up with. But I have to say, I really like what he's done with it. I don't feel like I'm lacking anything, even though it's over so quickly.
can't see in my eyes. My mind says stop, but my heart says go. Oh, it hurts to find. It's still when they say that love is blind, blinded by love. You're all I can see in my eyes. My mind says stop, but my heart says go. Oh, it hurts to find. It's still when they say that love is blind. Love is blind. Love is blind. So blind. Love made me blind. I'm so blind.
Yeah, some really cool stuff through that last section. I really like when Lee kicked it up on the bass drum, started playing quarter notes. So that would be if your count is 1, 2, 3, 4, you would hit a bass drum on each one of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, 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 boom. Probably play just on a single bass drum pedal. That's easy enough to do. It's actually harder to play slower tempos on double bass drum. It's easier to play faster because you get that rhythm going in your body, and the slower ones are a little harder to play. So I would say at that tempo probably was just a single bass drum pedal that he was using or hitting instead of a double bass drum. But in any case, it sounded really good. I liked that it felt like it got a little bit heavier. There's some great little licks coming in from Mick. Really like that the keyboards are not trying to dominate. They just are resting nicely in the mix. Nice passionate vocal from Peter Goalby. just a great song overall. It was nice to be able to hear a little more bass in this one, so you could tell what Bob Daisley was doing, and he was playing his heart out on this one, man. Really good stuff. So yeah, another thumbs up for me for a cover. I'm going to have to go, as I say this on every one, and I still haven't done it yet, but I'm going to have to go and check out the original and compare it and see how they, see how they did it. So that is today's show, guys. Thanks for joining me for another song. We'll be back and we'll do more songs because that is what this show is all about. Take care of yourselves, guys. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uriah Heep, the Magicians Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please consider going over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast outlet, leaving a rating or a review. Be sure to subscribe to make sure that you are notified when new episodes are available. Please be sure to share this podcast with your fellow Uriah Heep enthusiasts and anyone who you think would like Uriah Heep, which should be everyone. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to contribute to the Patreon account. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you can also pay through the PayPal link on the website listed in the show links below. I would also like to thank Uriah Heep for their very generous support of the show, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy days!